Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hockey Hobby Roundup. Today we are going to kick things off with a couple pieces of big news around Upper Deck Series 2. The first one is that you can expect Connor Bedard's base Young Gun to be in the product, but you cannot expect his Young Gun canvas as that will be in Upper Deck Extended Series that will come out later this year. Additionally, we found out that Adam Fantilli and Logan Cooley will have their base Young Guns in Extended Series as well, which means the overall Young Gun crop in Series 2 will still be extremely good, but not quite as good as it could be, while on the other hand, Extended Series will actually have a couple of really solid headliners, and that crop could actually be sneaky good as well, especially again when you factor in the fact that Bedard's Young Gun canvas will be in there. If they do the same thing with the acetate Young Guns, those will be in there as well. Lots of little rookie content in there, so it could be a pretty popular product this year, unlike the past few years. We'll have our full breakdown of the 2023-24 Upper Deck Series 2 Young Gun checklist when it is officially made public, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. We'll start things off with the rookie report, and we'll start things off with Connor Bedard, who suffered the fractured jaw on a pretty innocent looking hit. Unfortunately, he'll miss 6 to 8 weeks, and we're about 2 weeks into that, so 4 to 6 weeks left for him. Who knows? It depends on how quickly he wants to get back and how quickly Chicago wants him back in the lineup, because, I mean, they are hunting for Macklin Celebrini at this point, and having Connor Bedard in their lineup actually probably severely harms their chances of getting him. But at the same time, he wants to play, and he has been very good. Again, he scored the Michigan goal like a couple weeks before that, and he's just continuing to lead Chicago in every single statistical category, which is pretty impressive considering they don't have a ton of NHL talent on their team. And yeah, I really don't expect this to affect his hobby value at all either. It might pump the brakes a little bit just because people get a little bit cautious about him not playing games. But at the end of the day, he's probably still going to win the Calder Trophy. He's probably still going to be around a point per game player in his rookie season, which is, again, absolutely incredible. And yeah, I just see him just being that true generational talent akin to Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, and just seeing his hobby value continue to rise a little bit. And I'll say a little bit there just because based off of what his artifacts rookie year is selling for, he might break he'll probably break every single comparison we have for a player and their rookie card value in the hockey hobby world. So pretty interesting to see that, because his artifacts rookie is actually more valuable than a McDavid PSA 10 right now, which is just kind of mind-blowing to think about it like that. Next up, we have Leo Carlsson, who also unfortunately missed some time due to an MCL sprain. It is actually a very positive outcome for him because it actually looked like he broke his leg on the play, but luckily he's already back in the lineup for the Ducks, so we'll look to see him just kind of continue his development. It'll be interesting to see what Anaheim does with their development plan for him, because they were kind of taking his approach a little bit differently, giving him extra days off to allow him just to work out and build more strength, which is something that's probably more underrated in the hockey world and something you might see teams do a little bit more often moving forward with their top prospects. But yeah, look for him to be back and contributing on a nightly basis. And speaking of contributing, Adam Fantilli's been one of the better rookies over the past little bit, especially with Boone Jenner being out for an extended period of time. He looked like a natural fit in the center position, and he's moved into second in scoring amongst all NHL rookies. So pretty cool to see that for the Columbus Blue Jackets' third overall pick. And then finally, kind of the other major rookie of note is Logan Cooley, who has unfortunately struggled a little bit. He still chipped in some points here and there, but definitely a developmental season for him. And something to keep in mind with every single rookie, even this year's, last year's, and the year before, is that it is generally very tough to transition to the NHL level. I think we'll see less and less rookies kind of hitting that insane blow your mind type of stride, just because most of the players have been playing this fast skilled game for a longer period of time than what they did in the early 2010s. So you'll see it kind of take a little bit more of a transition phase as opposed to, the Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Taylor Hall, even Nail Yakupov had an insane rookie season. Let's not forget about that. So yeah, just something to keep in mind is that it can take a few years for these players to develop and actually fully reach their true NHL potential. So have a little bit of patience sometimes. Finally, we'll get to 3 defensemen here. Pavel Mintyukov actually also suffered a separated shoulder for the Ducks. The Ducks have been having a really bad injury bug run through the team, same as Chicago. But yeah, so he'll be out another, I think, 4 weeks or so, if my math is correct, maybe 5 weeks. So look for him to return again and be very, very good. And then in terms of the other two rookies, with Bedard being injured, the only other two players I really see having a chance to steal the Calder Trophy from him are Luke Hughes and Brock Faber. Luke Hughes has been solid for the New Jersey Devils. He has, I think, a couple more points than Brock Faber. But honestly, you could make the argument that Brock Faber has been the most valuable rookie this entire year for his team. He's been a true number one defenseman for the Minnesota Wild. And yeah, he's just been absolutely phenomenal for them. I wouldn't be shocked to see him sneak into at least some consideration for the first player on the ballot for the Calder Trophy for some people, but ultimately it's still Connor Bedard's trophy to lose just because of how electric he's been this year. So just something to keep an eye on with his injury, but ultimately I think once he returns, he'll probably continue being a point per game player, and he'll probably just kind of coast home and take the Calder Trophy to the bank. In terms of products that have come out over the past month, we saw 2023-24 Artifacts come out in December and was a pretty big hit, pretty popular because everyone's chasing after that Connor Bedard Chicago rookie redemption. We actually made a video on how the rookie redemptions work as well, or at least how they have historically worked. So if you're interested in that, we'll leave a link to that in the description below, as well as a link to our box openings for Artifacts and for 21-22 the Cup that came out, and for 2022-23 Ice that came out just last week as well. So those were kind of the only three products off the top of my head that came out. And in terms of upcoming product releases, we'll have 2022-23 credentials coming in at the end of the month. The checklist just got posted for that. If you'd like to see a bit of a breakdown for that, let us know in the comment section below. And then finally, I think OPG 2023-24 OPG will be coming out in early February as well. We probably should see a checklist for that next week. Fingers crossed at least. There's a chance that is another product that will have Connor Bedard rookies in it. In terms of other potential products we could see over the next month, we could see 2023-24 Trilogy, 2022-23 Ultimate and Premier, and there's a couple of other products here and there, including Clear Cut, and just really Series 2, probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, at the end of February as well. That will be an absolutely crazy and insane release. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people searching for that Bedard Young Gun. So buckle up because, again, someone's probably going to get a pretty good down payment on that house if they pull that Bedard 1/1 Outburst Gold Young Gun. Finally, to close out the episode, we'll go over who's hot and who's not. In terms of players, it's Nathan MacKinnon, who has put 33 points up since the last episode we did. And in terms of goal scoring, it's Austin Matthews and Sam Reinhart, both with 17, again, since the last episode that we did. And in terms of teams, I mean, there's a few teams, but the Edmonton Oilers are on an insane winning streak. I think they're at 11 in a row now, maybe 12. I think it's 11, though. They play tonight at least, so we'll figure out who wins that game. At least tonight when I'm recording this, it'll be yesterday when you see this. And yeah, outside of that, Seattle Kraken also went on a pretty big run. The Flames' underlying numbers are bouncing back up a little bit. And then LA and Vegas are both kind of struggling now, so the Pacific Division is getting a little bit interesting. But hey, the Vancouver Canucks are still killing it out there, and they are actually one of the top teams in the league alongside the Winnipeg Jets. I guarantee you at the start of the year that no one had those two teams being two of the top teams in the standings at the halfway point of the season. In terms of who's not hot, I mean, we gotta talk about the San Jose Sharks here because they actually won up their losing streak from earlier in the year with a 12-game losing streak. They have had an 11 and 12-game losing streak in the same season. Pretty wild and unheard of. So it looks like they're going to be the favorites to land that first overall draft pick because as much as Anaheim and Chicago are struggling, and even Ottawa and Columbus, really, I just don't see anyone dropping too below what San Jose has put up for points so far. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting race just because it's going to come down to where the lottery balls fall. And I mean, hey, Chicago somehow manages to get Macklin Celebrini alongside Bedard. That could be a pretty scary thought for a number of years to come. Who's been struggling lately is Anton Lundell for the Florida Panthers. He has just 2 points in his team's last 14 games played, and don't really know if it's just bad luck or just not getting in on the right touches, or if he's just kind of, you know, facing a little bit of a sophomore slump, but he's looked really good the past couple seasons, and even his underlying numbers are decent this year. The Panthers also look to be a pretty strong team as well, so kind of just player to keep your eye on because his cards might dip in value a little bit, but I think there's a lot of talent there and a chance that he rebounds. Anyways, that wraps things up for the third edition of the Hockey Hobby Roundup. Looking forward to seeing any comments or questions we have and seeing you in our next video. Take care and have a good weekend.